All right, this is super spontaneous, but it should be a lot of fun. Just like 30-40 minutes ago while I was eating lunch, I was scrolling through my local auction listings for the junk stuff, the stuff that nobody wants, and I ran across something that's like 10 minutes down the street. There was 5 minutes left on the auction counter, and it was only at $500. This 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited with 4-wheel drive. It looks super clean, and right now these cars are really in. As a matter of fact, I did a quick VIN search on this car and found a listing for it just a year ago. A dealer was selling it for $5 grand, and it said it had a recent service including a timing chain kit. Now, is any of this true? Who knows? Maybe we'll figure that out once we go pick it up, because I just won it. I literally won it for $700 plus a $40 bid fee. $740 all in for a 4-wheel drive SUV that, well, the only caveat is it doesn't run. But realistically, this is a sort of gamble I love, because I think it's worth a few $100s more than I paid for it as is, and if we get it to run, it's worth 5, 6, 7 times our money. So we're getting prepared. We got everything we need here. I've got my portable toolkit, my code reader, my jump pack, a spare battery. We've got a bagged Aston Martin. That has nothing to do with this video, but if you want to see what we're going to do with that bagged Aston Martin, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because that's coming up very shortly. But we're going to get our trailer loaded up. We're going to head on over to the dealer where we're picking this car up from, and fingers crossed we're going to get it running in their parking lot, or it's going to have a blown up engine, one or the other, but we'll find out soon enough. And even if it doesn't run, $740 for an entire car with 4-wheel drive in today's market, well, it's hard to beat. The only other offer out there right now that I think might be a little bit better is the fact that you can download one of my favorite mobile games, Lightning Link Casino, totally free. With dozens of amazing slot games on tap, the 18 and older audience are really in for a treat with Lightning Link Casino. Bring the authentic slot experience right to your iOS or Android mobile device. Just tap the link in the description box and download the game totally free. And while there's no real gambling here, there's a ton of real fun with slots like my favorite, Grand Star, where I just hit the jackpot winning a massive 49 million coins. Only Lightning Link offers a free slot bonus every day you play and consistently provides updates to keep the experience fresh, with new slots added on the regular. And this month marks 3 years of Lightning Link Casino. To celebrate, they're putting on 2 weeks of in-game offers, events, and prizes. All you have to do to check it out is click my link in the description box or scan this QR code right here. New users are going to get started off with 10 million coins to play their favorite slots. Now, I've got to give a huge thanks to you guys, because when you download Lightning Link Casino, you are helping to support my channel, and I want to give a huge thanks to Lightning Link Casino for sponsoring this video. So it seems my variant of the car owner virus is incurable, and of course I bought another car instead of focusing on my Project Ferrari. It's the entire reason I probably still haven't finished the Ferrari, which is arguably way more interesting and important, but can you blame me? An entire car in this market for under $1,000? In a moment we'll check out what buying a $700 wholesale Jeep is actually like, but first a quick update on the Ferrari 360. I was genuinely convinced I would have it finished up in just a few days after replacing the clutch, bearings, and every oil seal associated with the transmission. Last time we checked in, almost everything was ready for my Ferrari's first start in several months. A start that would mark the beginning to an end of this project. I picked up this awesome bearing press toolkit online that took care of our transmission bushing install job in literally just a few minutes, mounted the transmission back in place, and we were ready to test fire this car and make sure it was ready for its final assembly. We have everything important like electronically hooked up, so our maps are hooked up, all the stuff that we've worked on is hooked up, and you can see there's still a lot of stuff missing. But what I want to do now is a test run of the car. Make sure everything runs right, the car isn't running super off, because if it is, we got to reroute hoses or wires, or God forbid, we got to pull the transmission again. We don't want to install everything to take it all off. So let me get in. Sage, I want you to watch here. I want you to watch around the oil reservoir to the transmission area. I want you to watch down there where we filled the transmission fluid, and also that F1 reservoir. Just look for any gushing fluids, anything like that, smoke, fire. It is a Ferrari. So let me fire it up really quick. Really exciting. Everything worked like it should have, and we continued to reassemble the engine bay, the exhaust intake, and all the wiring. Literally just a few more body panels and we will have a finished car.
or so I thought. After hooking up a simple battery charger and doing a few diagnostic tests with my code reader, the following startups were totally unlike what we just experienced.
This has been a borderline miserable experience. All right, I just hooked the battery up first time. ASR, and then the gearbox light is on. Is it clicking back there, Sage? It's this one. Yeah. You can feel it. Anytime you have a car apart, especially to the extent that we had this Ferrari apart, you put it all back together and you go to use it and you have a new issue, it's almost always user introduced. But remember, the first time we went to start it up after hooking most of the things back up, well, the car worked, it went into gear, it shifted, it drove up in the air, so the problem is kind of new. It doesn't mean that I didn't create the current issue we're having now, but unfortunately, that throttle body clicking is very indicative of one failure, an electrical failure, something that's been documented on these Ferrari 360s before. Now, it almost always has nothing to do with the throttle body itself or the electronics in the throttle body, but actually a failed engine ECU, a problem we've already experienced on this car. Now, a lot of guys in the Ferrari community, and as a matter of fact, Doug DeMuro said it in one of his Ferrari 360 videos, and that is that you never want to jump start one of these cars because it can take out an engine computer. I've heard that a bunch of times, and then a lot of guys that I know that actually own these cars, use them, drive them, and even work on them have said that they've never actually experienced an ECU failure because of jump starting the car. They just tend to go, and a lot of people point to the fact that they're in the engine bay and the heat ends up killing them over time. Now, I can't say for sure why an engine computer fails. If you did remember, I said that I was using my diagnostic reader on the Ferrari while it was plugged into a trickle charger. Now, I would never in a million years think that that would affect the car, but that is exactly right when we started experiencing these issues. Now, I checked all the obvious things like my battery voltage, also the fuses, and I came up short. Everything looked good and was in good working order. There's a little bit of good news out of this. This repair is easy. I mean, I could pull these engine ECUs out in probably 4 or 5 minutes. I can pull the immobilizer out in a few minutes, and semi-local to me is Specialized ECU Repair, the guys that fixed my one engine computer, and they have a bench tester in house. Literally within about 30 seconds to a minute, they'll plug every single one of my modules together and find exactly where the failure point is in them. The bad side of this is that over the past 18 months, it's been figured out that they no longer make these engine ECUs. So the only way to source them is to get a used one and have a company like Specialized go ahead and reprogram it, which means that the cost of these ECUs have gone through the roof. You used to be able to buy them for anywhere between like $300, $400, $500. Now they're over $2,000 for a used one. So continuing along with the theme of there's nothing more expensive than a cheap Ferrari, well, here we go again. Hopefully, it's something that can be reprogrammed and repaired instead of a replacement unit. Maybe I corrupted something because I was using the diagnostic software with the battery charger. That would be the best case scenario. But again, in due time, we'll figure out. And like I said, I won't have to spend a ton of time on this because of the great service provided by Specialized. So anyway, that's where the Ferrari stands. We're going to go and pick up the Jeep. What I want to know from you guys, though, before we do this is, you guys like these sort of costly, expensive supercar repairs better, or do you like the idea of gambling on a car that literally costs $740 or 1/3 the cost of a Ferrari engine computer? Let me know down in the comments section. Let's head on over to this dealer and pick up this Jeep. All right, we're trying to remain somewhat inconspicuous here because there's a lot of people running around. The guy that we just met, he said he thinks it drove in. It looks like it drove into the parking space it's in, and it's in the same exact space that it was in the pictures. Well, that's a bad thing that it's in the same space, but it looks like it's like centered in there or whatever. It's going to be really interesting seeing if we can get this thing out of where it is because it's very cramped here. Now, on the flip side of all that story, right here, this says tow in on it, which, yeah, again, that doesn't bode well for the story I just gave you, but I don't know, man. It looks, I mean, all electronics power up and everything when you get in it. We saw it. It's got a black ice air freshener, and it doesn't smell like someone listened to a lot of Chief Keef in there. So paint on it's like real nice too.
It did.
Let's see here. What does it say? All right. it's got oil in it for sure.
Yep.
All right, Sage is getting in. He's gonna try and crank it right now. Oh, dead battery, hold on. All right, hold on, we're plugged. It says start, so go ahead. Hold on. Cranks. Knock. Let's try it again. The mystery remains. We're really coming up empty-handed, except the fact that the car cranks is a really good sign. When we ran the code read on it with our diagnostic tool, it found absolutely nothing, and that's likely due to either the weak battery or the fact that the dead battery erased all the codes that were stored in the system. It does sound wonky when it's cranking. It doesn't sound great, but no matter what, if it is something simple, it could be fuel related, so I'm going to grab a fuel pressure tester gauge. And then I want some starting fluid, because that'll be really simple. If it kind of starts and idles off the starting fluid, then we can point to fuel. Otherwise, if everything fails, well, we've got ourselves a $740 paperweight, but it's actually in really nice shape, and this is a car that, again, I don't think we're going to lose on one way or another. So let's go ahead, we're going to regroup, and we'll head back to the Jeep in just a few. So in typical fashion, I get someone else to do the work for me. Tow truck driver brought the car. I had Sage throw a battery in it, and I can't for the life of me find my fuel pressure tester. I really want to test fuel, but I got some of this right here, some starting fluid. That fixes everything, right? Look, this thing is just, it's completely not even hooked up. Let's see what this does. Oh man, can this guy get out of here, please? All right, here we go. Sounds identical.
Yep.
It bubbles?
Yep.
Yeah, well, if there's, yeah, look, I can see it. So that's compression escaping the engine and going in through the cooling system. So it's, I mean, that would tell me it's got a blown head gasket. And you've got low compression. That's probably why it's not starting. But man, we had almost a little start the other day. I can't believe it doesn't want to fire. It's like something isn't hooked up. This thing's got me all sorts of confused now with the bubbles in the coolant reservoir. I mean, by the amount of time we spend checking it all out, we might as well just throw another engine in. 50,000 likes, here we go. I'm gonna do a challenge because everybody's gonna say he'll never finish this. And truthfully, if it's got a bad engine, I don't see a reason to do it. But 50,000 likes on this video, I will buy a refurbished engine, and well, I'll find somebody to put it in, and maybe we'll record it if you want to see a video. But the thing that's got me seriously thinking about putting a refurbished engine in is just look at the interior. Like, yeah, the steering wheel's a little dirty, but the seats themselves, there's no major rips. It's got the upgraded leather interior with the Jeep insignia in the seats, and then the rear looks like really nice. It wasn't beaten up. So this is a really nice truck for someone, especially considering it's four-wheel drive. I didn't really check out back here yet. Looks like just a bunch of junk. You know, it's funny because sometimes, especially at the salvage auction, sometimes people will total their car with a bunch of stuff in it and then they'll accidentally leave it there. And once in a while you can find something good, but this is Tide Pods. They leave us any of these? I heard they taste pretty good. No, it's a joke. Don't eat Tide Pods. Everything's just empty. Oh look, there's something in here. Check this out. Is this even a digital, or is this, no, this is a film Minolta. Comment down below if you want this. Giveaway for an AF zoom, that's autofocus zoom Minolta. I don't know anything about this. Oh, check it out. Lens to go along with it. And then, actually, look, this might be worth like 20 bucks right here. We're gonna get a $20 rebate on the truck. This is one of those, this is a waterproof camera. You can use this under the water. We should shoot the rest of the video with this camera. Hold on. Dude, what if the person left their SD card in here and we found some of the footage and put it on the screen? Oh, look. Look. What do you think's on it?
Something good, I'm telling you.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
And this is a really, really like nice engine to work on. Everything's right here. I mean, it all looks simple. Not saying I want to do a head gasket on it or anything like that, but we don't want to do a head gasket. I think probably by the time you do a head gasket, you'd be better off replacing this engine. All right, first spark plug should be out in a second. Let's see here. There it is. Looks really normal. Don't see any problems with that, really. What's your guess on compression? Let's do a betting pool. So we're doing betting pools lately. I think it's going to be like, I think 0 is going to be the number.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess.
We're doing Price is Right numbers. You might want to guess 1. You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 0.
0?
Yeah. We got 90.
90? Come on, 90? I mean, that's not great, but it's compression. You should have guessed 1.
I should have.
Well, that means we got to keep taking coils and plugs out and see what we got going on. Now, I mean, I'm all over the place. One minute I'm telling you we got a blown head gasket. Now I'm telling you timing issue. No, I mean, that's also where we could be getting some compression loss due to a blown head gasket. But the fact that it's not starting is super suspect too. Like, it should just be running really poorly. And then whenever we tried cranking at the dealer, we did get that sort of like that nasty shuffle, which could have been anything from timing chain slap to like a spun bearing or something. I mean, I'm all over the place. I don't know what's going on. So to continue diagnosing, what we got to do is real simple. We just got to start pulling plugs, pulling coils, compression testing, and we'll break out the scope. You ever done this before, Sage? You ever had to break out the compression tester?
No.
That's my life a lot lately. The first car I had to break it out on was that green Ferrari, and it was a little nerve-wracking when I done that, but it turned out to be good. Every other car since it's not been good.
No, we gotta switch that up right here.
We didn't switch it up because we got 90 on this cylinder right here. But you know, 90 is better than 0 for a car that costs $740. I'm gonna give it a pass. But the fact that there's so many things hooked up like loosely, and then we've got all this, you know, fancy duct tape work on the, what is this, vacuum line or PCV hose. You know, and then like you said it, not me. They took it to the dealer after putting all that work in. So kind of strange, but all right. Opposite bank, first cylinder. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna guess. It's higher.
I don't know, take a guess.
It's higher. It's 145.
It's 80.
80? What the hell's going on with this? So now, see, I want to go from head gasket to timing. You know, when we turned it over and you kind of heard that slap knock, I was immediately thinking a chain that slipped. Continuing along with our compression tests, we got consistently poor numbers. Everything from about 80 to 110 PSI on cylinders 1 through 7, which is grossly off from the 140 to 150 that the internet tells you should have on one of these 4.7 liter cars. Then I got to cylinder number 8 and our numbers dropped to 0. I used a scope camera and found what looks like a severely destroyed valve, and it's just hanging up top near the cylinder head there. It's not sitting anywhere near its seat, and that's clearly where all our compression is escaping, giving us this 0 figure. So at this point, between the bubbling in the coolant tank, which is probably just an anomaly because our oil looked pretty clean, maybe there's just some air in the system, and when you're cranking it, the water pump starts turning. It is mechanical, and it's just pushing some air into the coolant. You notice my theories are always changing. You probably have a better theory than me anyway, so let me know what you think in the comments. But at this point, I think the best repair solution for this car would be to just throw a whole new engine at it, because I did a little research and a completely remanufactured engine for this Jeep is $2,000 delivered to my door. For $2,000, they literally are refurbishing every single wear item internally in the engine, reassembling it, and it's a long block. You literally drop it in, assemble a few things, and you've got a working Jeep with a reman engine. Now, if we put that $2,000 plus $740 for the purchase purchase price of the Jeep together at $2,740, I still think it's an amazing deal. And even if I pay a little bit of labor to get the engine put in, and I will stand by that. 50,000 likes on this video, I will get this car sorted and we'll do something nice with it. I mean, it's up to you guys whether it happens or not, so go ahead and hit the like button. I'm gonna start ripping the engine computers out of the Ferrari, that way I can ship them into Specialized and we can get this show on the road. I keep saying that, maybe that will never happen and this will just be an indefinite fixture of the barn, but hopefully not. I really think like we're knocking on the end of this project here. We just got to get it done and sorted so that we can move on to things like this. If you want to see what we're going to do with this, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And as always, guys, I can't thank you enough for watching today. I'll catch you very soon.